Howdy. Got my cowboy hat on today, so I'm saying howdy to everybody. Freaking them out. They're not used to that. This is Georgia, not Texas. They're not used to that. What I wanted to show you here was a water oak leaf. And I learned this in the same way that a lot of young people learn how to identify these different kinds of oak trees. You see this, the shape of this leaf, it kind of looks like a duck's foot. If you look at it just right, it kind of looks like a duck's foot. And ducks like water, so this is a water oak with the duck's foot shaped leaf. And if you don't see the leaf, then behind me here is the actual oak tree itself. This one is a monster. It's really big around and old, and it has a very large area for shade. I really like this. There's an old wives' tale that I'm reminded of, and it says, "Beware the oak, it draws the stroke." And by that, they're talking about lightning. This would be probably a very good place to take shelter in a storm. But again, because the roots are so deep and the tree tends to be so big, it's often the biggest tree in the area. And I'm not going to do a whole thing on lightning safety just now, but this would not be probably a good choice to be under in a big storm. Even though my gut tells me this would be a great place to be. Okay, here's sort of a partial tutorial here. There's a very hard to see spider web on the ground right here, and it's a little messy. I'm touching it right now. You see it, maybe? It's a little messy, and when I see a messy spider web on the ground, I think black widows. Not all other spiders make a ground web as well. But and this one's not super duper messy. I've seen some that are have leaves and crap all in them, and that may be part of the hunting strategy, I believe, of the black widow. So heads up, when you see a fairly messy ground web like this, the actual spider itself was over here where I moved this leaf a little bit and it took off, so I couldn't identify it. But heads up and steer clear of these kinds of webs when you're out in the wilderness. And here we got some blackberries. They're very hard and red and immature. They're on a thorny vine, very thorny. I know I've been up in North Georgia before, and the black bears will get into these blackberries and just eat and crap and eat. You can see gigantic, kind of very loose, watery scat from the bears after they get a hold of these when they're ripe up in North Georgia. I'm in a little bit of a slough. If you listen carefully, you can hear the frogs kind of being annoyed at me being here. They're chirping, and it's a little bit of a backwater to a stream. I woke up Granddaddy Frog. He's barking at me now. Here's some maturing, ripening blackberries here. So these are very good. So I showed you some blackberries. I showed you some mushrooms. I don't know anything about the mushrooms yet. I don't know if they're poisonous or not. Most likely they are. Also, I'm kind of reminded that now I know where the blackberries are in this area. I'll be coming back to them from time to time. And primitive man, or hunter-gatherers, or even just pioneers and frontiersmen, mountain men, they sort of had the same encyclopedia in their head. They knew where to go for water when it was dry. They knew maybe where the deer like to bed down at different times of the year. They maybe knew where the good squirrel nests were. So they had a very in-depth catalog in their head about where to go and what to do when certain conditions arose. So now I know where the blackberries are, so I'll be coming back to this area.